Hello everyone, welcome to Talking Health with Dr. Laz, your favorite health program on television. Reaching you from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. My name is Dr. Laz Eze. Yes, you may recall that a week ago, precisely on 2nd August 2021, the National Association of Resident Doctors, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, resumed a nationwide strike action. And prior to that, at their National Executive Council meeting that held at Federal Medical Center Umuahia some days earlier than that, they listed about up to 14 reasons, why they will be resuming strike. This is coming after another strike action that happened around April this year. And within the last 1 year, there's been not less than 3 strike actions involving resident doctors. You agree with me that this disruption in healthcare services at the tertiary hospital level is something that we could now, it might not be wrong to say we have an epidemic of strikes in the health sector. But beyond the national level strike, there's been pockets of chapter strike. The University College Hospital, UCH Ibadan chapter, had long weeks of strike, protesting some additional local issues. Doctors in Ondo State have been running battle with the state governments, and of course, there was a period that a video leaked, where the governor, Governor Akeredolu, was alleged to have said that the doctors don't have 2 heads, so he wasn't bound to meet their demands, and he was roundly criticized for taking such position while at the same time building a new state secretariat. In Abia State, doctors are being owed at the Abia State University Teaching Hospital and other state-owned hospitals for more than 20 months, But recent information I got is that recently they got a 3-month payment, and that reduced the debts to like 19 months. At Federal Medical Center Umuahia, also in Abia State, some doctors and other health workers who were recruited in 2019 are being owed 7 months arrears. Some are actually less than that. And in Anambra State, there is also alleged that doctors are being owed for at least 7 months. In Imo State, the story is not much different. Many months of debts being owed doctors. Of course, the Southeast chapter of the National Association of Resident Doctors had addressed the media a couple of weeks ago, where they reeled out some of these issues. All over the country, so many issues are affecting residency training in Nigeria. The implementation of residency training, Medical Residency Training Act, which NARD complains that many states are yet to begin to implement certain aspects. Issue of hazard allowance that remains 5,000 naira for all health workers despite the COVID-19 pandemic, Lassa fever, and other increasing risk. But many have also accused doctors of being in a hurry to go on strike, as if there are no other ways of addressing these grievances rather than strike. So on the program, we shall be hearing from the president of Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, who is a senior registrar in Ekpoma, the Ambrose Ali University, the teaching hospital in Ekpoma, Edo State of Nigeria, and is a senior registrar in orthopedic surgery department, Dr. Uyilawa Okhaihesuyi. Dr. Uyilawa Okhaihesuyi. I hope I got the name very correctly. You're welcome to the program, Dr. Okhaihesuyi.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are going to take a very short break. And when we return, we'll quickly discuss some of the outstanding issues and, of course, how we can proceed going forward. Do stay with us, and I'll be right back shortly. Welcome back to Talking Health with Dr. Laz, your favorite health program on television. Yes, we are talking about the disruption in services at the tertiary hospital and, of course, even some secondary hospital levels here in Nigeria. And this is one too many of strike action involving healthcare workers. Why is it that these issues keep lingering and never resolved? Dr. Uyilawa Okhaihesuyi is the president of Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. Okay, Dr. Uyi, so the Minister of Labour was reported over the weekend to have threatened no work, no pay, and also threatened to employ new doctors if his ultimatum that expired after 7 days, if the doctors don't suspend the strike, that he was going to, in fact, he said, wait till next week, that certain things will be happening, that is going to be activating labor laws, So right now, what are the key issues that NARD is requesting the government to do after the memorandum of action that was signed 3 months ago, about 4 months ago, actually?
Thank you very much. Being an elder does not mean you bring out the big fist to start teaching your baby when you as a father have not done the right thing. Nobody on this earth will live forever. 19 people were lost to COVID-19 never knew their life would come short because of being infected with COVID-19.
You mean 19 medical doctors?
19 medical doctors died, resident doctors. The first ultimatum given to the federal government was on the 31st of January 2021, stating clearly our demands that spans from the house officers not being paid and their salaries for months. As it stands, 114 house officers have been owed a span of 2 to 7 months. This is over 116 days to sign a memorandum of action at the instance of the Minister of Labour, Minister of Health, the budget, the MDCN chairman, and the IP's director. And we still have irregularities. Over 114 members have still not been paid. We are aware of a circular that came out from the Office of the Head of Service saying that house interns should be removed from the scheme of service. When we and you know that even in other places in Africa, they have been part of the scheme of service. In other clients in the US and the UK, they are all in Canada, they are in the scheme of service. We tend to copy wrong circulars and the negative ones that bring down the health sector and go back to the confines of our homes when the healthcare system in Nigeria is faulty. That also goes for the members on the business platform that are paid under the non-regular mode of payment. This is because the brain drain that is affecting most in the country generally, where all health workers are moving away from Nigeria. Means there's a lacuna in the system where we don't have resident doctors to mount the post. And the CNDs are forced to go and hire doctors on local basis. Local basis is faulty. It was, we said out of the last 2 years that local doctors should not be employed. Instead, the head of service should please give a waiver to the chief medical directors and allow them to get residents that want to undergo training. Up to now, as it stands, in places like UCH Ibadan, UCH Calabar, UCH Port Harcourt are trading owed a range of 3 to 4 months salaries for services they have rendered to the country and to their people.
Yes, sorry, I have to call you Dr. E. Having mentioned some of these, I recall seeing a circular a couple of weeks ago where UCT, University of Calabar Teaching Hospital, was actually saying that they are suspending housemanship for a month, citing security reasons. And people were outraged that you've not paid these house officers, and just a peaceful demand that they should be paid, that you're not suspending the program. Can you speak a bit more on the situation in Calabar? This has been lingering since late 2020.
I think, when you are in a country where things do not work in the proper way, that's where all Dracula laws come and be mounted on us. The very right for any person to suspend individuals from their daily work and those in leadership that have failed in making the system work. Is there any consequences on them? You cannot just at any day wake up and suspend something that has been in existence since and that will say outlive you. First, you move them from the scheme of service. Now you come because they joined the strike, you suspend them and victimize them because there are no consequences.
So in all of this, within the last, from last year after the strike, there was a period there were reports that the medical residency training fee has been paid, and also COVID-19 related allowances were also paid. Wouldn't that mean, that government has shown some good faith in meeting the demands, some of the demands that Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors have put to the table?
When some people in authority talk like gods and seeing every other person against himself now would do no matter, and come on air and sell wrong information to Nigerians, it's shameful. I'll give you an example. He said on air that the medical training funds for 2021 have been paid. And I asked him the same question just barely 4 weeks back. That first of all, the medical training funds for the shortfalls in 2020 and the ones for 2021 were not tax and parcels of if in the budget. Many thanks to Honorable Femi Miller, so I helped us to put it in the supplementary budget in 2020. And I still have to put it in this 2021 budget under the civil-wide vote. The document was just signed by the President last 2 weeks, Thursday. And they said, quoting them, that they will have to source some money to implement the supplementary budget. So where did the minister get the money for payments to be made for 2021 budget?
Okay.
That's false information.
Okay, so what you're saying is that no such payment has been made for 2021 in terms of medical residency training fee. Okay, so we're going to take another break, and when we return, we'll kind of spend more time talking about what we need to do. The patient, when these two elephants fight, the patients who are like the grasses get to suffer more in this, even though the doctors are also suffering, one must say that. So when we come back, we'll conclude this conversation. Do stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Talking Health with Dr. Laz, your favorite health program on television. I've been speaking with Dr. Uyi, who is the national president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. This is the second week since the nationwide strike action started, and the sound bites from both the parts of NARD and also Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment has not been quite pleasant. We've not been hearing so much from the Federal Ministry of Health, where a lot of the allegations and accusations is pointing towards. Dr. Yi, good to have you joining us via phone call. So, so
Thanks
many
for having me.
issues over time, and Nigerians are really sick. And they say, is there no other alternative to this strike action? What is the place of the patient in all this conversation? Sometimes they say that, we took Hippocratic oath and we are not keeping to it by abandoning our patients. So what do you tell Nigerians who are always on the receiving end?
The best solutions to all this is for Nigerians to appeal to the president of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, to call the people in the Ministry of Health to order. Because they cannot be shown recklessness and abandoning the system.
So who specifically in the Ministry of Health do they need to call to order?
We have not heard from Ministry of Health and Ministry of Labour. Minister of Labour said he will not call anybody because he's God.
He says he has exhausted the
He
conciliatory.
will be held responsible for anything that is happening, for making the resident doctors go on a strike.
Minister of Labour says he has exhausted the conciliatory moves, and right now he doesn't want to meet with you guys again.
16 days since we signed an MOA and an addendum on the 9th of April. And up to now, we have nothing that is done. And the best way you want to sack everybody, you should sack everybody.
So you are not afraid of the threat of having to sack your members and also recruiting doctors. You said that doctors are standby.
You sack everybody and you bring a local doctor to take charge of someone that has trained for over 5-6 years to take over his charge. That means he has lost the position of what the resident training really means. He has lost it.
So, but what specifically? Dr. Uyi, sorry, I'm cutting you this. Sorry, I'm cutting you short. What specific actions at this point do we need? Who in the Federal Ministry of Health? Is it the Director of Hospital Services? Is it the Ministers of Health? Is it the Medical and Dental Council Registrar? Where exactly are these bottlenecks, and what needs to be done to get it off the way?
The man in the affairs of the MDCN and TAD and Sanusi is one of the worst persons managers I've seen. You're given a system to make the health officers training work. First, you develop the false system. You have a system where health officers are paid twice. You develop a system when 114 members have still not been paid. You are in a system where a circular was brought out to tell you that to remove them from the scheme of service. And you are the affairs of the NDC and you do not know what anything to say about it. Does he even know the amount of doctors that are present in Nigeria? What times are they being able to take records of them? Is he aware that the health officers are members of Nigerian resident doctors? So is he aware that there is a court judgment on it? And if he doesn't bring that document that he has no power about. On the Director of Hospital Services is one of the most the persons that have caused problem in the Ministry of Health. But we have written to her severally. The Ministry of Health, I will tell her to have a meeting. We had meetings with her. She sits down, we wait 4 to 6 hours. I will come out of the meeting only for us to go to another meeting. It looks strange as if she's hearing everything we are saying for the first time. The Ministry of Health often directs the PAMSEC to do what they're supposed to do. But it stands. There are 10 things in our demand. Can they say they have done anyone to conclusion?
Okay, so apart from these people at the federal, NARD also complained about the states. Many of the states not even paying the 100% commerce to resident doctors, and many of the states not domesticating the Medical Residency Training Act and owing months of salaries. So, but Rivers State government in the past week, there was a memo that was circulated largely online that was threatening members of your members in Rivers State, saying that Rivers State government does not owe anybody and it doesn't see reasons, why Rivers people should be denied medical services because of what the federal government has failed to do. How are you responding to those kind of scenarios?
I work with Delta State University Hospital in Ogara, and Ogara has been one of the yardsticks I use in saying that the governor is doing well. Dr. Uyilawa Okhaihesuyi, I've considered the Medical Residency Training Fund, Medical Training Act. I've paid the Medical Residency Training Fund to all registrars in Delta State University. Dr. Uyilawa Okhaihesuyi pays as power and even better than federal government.
So apart from Delta State, is there any other state that have done same?
Yeah. So, but when other governors tend to give excuses why the health sector cannot function, they do not even pay the normal salary. You take a comment of 2009. That's one. You end up owing 19 months. That's two. You don't even know if the training is even functional because your facilities are dilapidated. You don't have equipment, functional MRI systems, and basic things for you to treat patients.
Okay, so some have asked, will it be proper for the entire country to be suffering this? When you've mentioned example of Delta State's government that has done what you expect other states to do. So will it not be better to localize some of these protests, within the places that are not working, so that people of Delta State should not be suffering from resident doctor strike when their governor has done the needful? What will you have to say to that?
I'll answer you, sir. If by any other thing I die today, sir, I have children, my wife, my family left behind because first, I do not have a functional insurance. That's one. I'm paid 5,000 naira for hazard allowance that cannot even treat malaria.
So how much are you recommending for as hazard allowance?
We ask for 50% of our basic, which is small compared to what people that sit down collect hardship allowance once 1.2 million naira.
Okay, 50% of basic salary.
Yes.
Is it only applicable to the medical doctors or all health workers within the...
All health workers, we're not selfish about it.
Okay.
Like, we are prone to other infections as they are. And if we get to be the leaders of the team, we must show leadership by example. Most of nurses and pharmacists, medical scientists, and doctors get any less than 3 million naira per annum. That 3 million naira per annum is 3 months hardship allowance and visitors allowance in the House of Rep and House of Senate. It's not what the percentage of budgeted towards healthcare is between 2.7 to 4% of the budget. 5 money meant to pay some people is what about 25, 40% of the whole budget. That shows you where your priority lies. A man that is hungry is not able to pay rent, pay the school fees of children.
Okay. Dr. Uyi, we are really out of time. So what is your last word to Nigerians on this issue?
The last word is that before you start giving allocating blames and telling them that you want to sack them, always first remember that brain drain is real. And always remember that nobody owns life. It can be anybody anytime.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have to be careful what you please people and do the right thing to make us call off the strike. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe that the concerned authorities will get this message, and I really want to appeal first as a Nigerian and also as a medical doctor and all of us as stakeholders in this country. We need to put health first. This crisis has lasted and lingered for too long. we need to make health priority. Health is not just a social service, it's business. And COVID-19 has demonstrated that health can crumble the economy. It has demonstrated that health is a security issue, is an education issue, is everything. So please, from the state governors to the Federal Ministry of Health to everybody that, labor and everybody that has role to play, let's resolve this conflict. Threats and counter-threats has not really proven effective when it comes to management of industrial disputes. So with that, we'll end the program today, and I'm hoping that before the next program, this issue should have been resolved. My name is Dr. Laz. Join us same station, same time next week. Bye for now.